Nuane foda kudus nganga ay kauda ashuti kauda nganga. Aba washidaya mama ay nganga dai watishkinga. Nuane foda kudus nganga ay kauda ashuti kauda nganga. Aba washidaya mama ay nganga dai watishkinga.
Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. So today I'm going to continue painting my blue spotted ray. Not my blue spotted ray, that's a portrait. Quite used to saying blue spotted ray. So last time we had a look at sort of painting the base colour for the face. So it looks a bit plain, it looks a bit flat, there's not many highlights. The colour on the camera isn't actually very good. Let me see if I can fix that colour. Give me 2 seconds. Let's have a look at the colour. Any better? Possibly a little bit. I think that's a little bit better, that colour there on the camera. Let's just do that. So, today's all about finishing the face, I think. I don't know if I'll get onto the hair. I'll do the hand last. We'll see. So obviously I've got a lot of detail around the eyes last time. I've noticed I made the whites of the eyes not very white, as it were. So I'm going to go back and just quickly do that. And I'm going to work on the sort of work from the eyes outwards. So I think I'll go first of all down and then possibly up, or maybe up and then down, depending on how I feel. Probably up then down because that's easier to paint, so I don't get my hand in the wet paint. So, as always, if you've got any questions, let me know. If you've got any comments, let me know. And I really hope that you enjoy the stream. So, I'm going to start off with some, to get the tonal colours right. So the base colour isn't quite right. I think it's a little bit more pinky, but I need to rub in certainly some highlights along here, a bit more shadow around here, more highlights. There's a lot of shadows coming from the hair. So the tones are very different as we go through. So I'm just going to whack a bunch of paints onto the palette and see what happens with no real plan. How is everyone today? Sorry, give me 2 secs. So I'm going to put some white down. I'll put a little bit of, I'll put a tiny bit of burnt sienna down. I don't know if I'll use it, but it's worth having on the palette just in case. I'm very much one of these people, get all the paints on the palette in case I'm going to use it, rather than sort of use it when I need it. I know that's a bit of a waste of paint, but it's just the way I paint. So I'm getting some vermilion down, I'm getting some magenta down. Get a bit of Payne's Grey down. And of course I'll get some tan down. So this is the colour palette I'm going to use today. I think YouTube crashed? No, it hasn't. So these are the colours I'm going to use for the face. I'm going to get the skin tones correct. I don't know what's going on with my YouTube. It's giving me some very strange statistics. It just went up to loads of viewers and then cut down to 0 and then back to 1. And now it's going up again. So, also let me know what you think of the music. I've got a sort of African vibe playlist going on. If you let me know if you want me to change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the shadows around here. There's a few shadows under here, and we'll sort of start the painting off. So I'm going to work up. So I'm going to do it above the glasses first. I'm going to work out under the glasses, and I'm just going to move down the painting. So today is going to be a few washes. So I'm just sort of going to make up the colour, see if I can get an accurate colour. So this is the tan colour. I'm going to add a little bit of vermilion in there, just to get a bit of the redness of the skin I've got. And actually already that's a pretty good colour, I think, for some of the shadows on the skin. It's a very sort of reddish colour. Might add a touch of white. The YouTube dashboard that I can see is doing something very weird, so do shout out if there's a problem. I can see there's a few viewers on here, I can't work out how many. Also, I've got the fan on. If a fan is interrupting you or is being picked up on the microphone, let me know, and I'll be able to sort of stop it and make it sort of disappear. I'm going to turn the fan down though. So once I actually do the hair, I'll probably do the shadows of each individual strand. I'm just going to get the sort of correct colour first. And this little orangey type colour is a really nice colour to blend in. I'm going to use a lot of the fingering technique, the sort of rubbing in with my finger. So that's going to happen a lot today, just to sort of blend in the colour. I'm using quite a loose paint here, so I can just rub it in and sort of blend it in. So already you can see there's a lot more highlights, a lot more depth in the forehead just because I did that. There are a couple of areas where it needs to be a little bit darker, so I'm just going to create that paint there. These are going to be down the edges here. As I say, there are under the hair, there's a lot of shadow, but I'll do that when I do the hair. Oh well. So these shadows are more of a wash. They're not really changing the underneath colour, it's more about sort of making it subtly darker. So I think as the forehead goes, that's pretty good. And the next one I'm going to do, the next part I'm going to do is the highlights. So I'm just going to basically add pure white. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to dab some white on and use my finger to blend it in. Again, I had problems with starting YouTube again. It didn't go on the stream that I started. I tested this all last night, it was working perfectly, and I just genuinely don't know what's going on. I really don't know. So in this case, the shadow is actually off top of the highlight rather than the highlight on top of the shadow. So I don't mind painting the whiteness before the shadow. The reason I'm saying the highlight is below the shadow is because the hair is on top of the skin, which is producing the shadow. So if you've been watching my streams, I usually prefer to paint dark before light, the shadows, but in this case, because the shadow looks like it's on top of the highlight, I'm more than happy to do it that way around. The shadow actually comes all the way up there. So the painting is going to look very weird until I do the hair. The hair is going to cover most of this, it's going to come over. So I'm just going to sort of leave it there looking a bit weird. Sometimes a bit of saliva helps how the painting goes together. I'm going to focus on the nose now. There is a shadow up at the top where the bridge is, but I'm actually going to put that again, probably over the top of the highlight. I think that's going to work a bit better. So I'm painting basically a pure white on this nose. I'm just going to feather it out either side. So the lightest bit of the, so the most opaque bit of the white is down the centre of this line. I've got a pretty nice highlight on the end of my nose here. So the reason I'm doing a self-portrait is because I think you learn a lot about yourself when you're painting yourself. I've never done one before. And I've certainly understood how I look a little bit more than I did before. I didn't realise the way I sort of looked or what certain aspects of my appearance were like. I never really considered it, if I'm honest. But doing a self-portrait, I've just realised, oh, these bits have changed in my body since I remembered. That sort of thing. So I think you learn a lot about how you look, but I think you possibly learn a lot about your personality and how you portray yourself to other people, just purely because you don't look at yourself in a mirror all the time. But when you're doing a self-portrait, you really dive deep into the expression you're giving through your eyes, the expression on your face, that sort of thing. So I think if you're ever wondering what to paint and you're stuck at ends, I think the best learning journey could potentially just do a self-portrait. I think most people get quite a lot out of that. And so far, I am surprised how much I am enjoying doing myself. I will get to the bottom of the YouTube issue where I can't seem to go on to the correct stream. I don't know what the problem is, I really don't, and it's really frustrating me, but hopefully I will get to the bottom of it. I might ask the support for the software I use. I don't think it's their problem, I think it's a YouTube problem, though. But they'll certainly be able to sort of point me in the right direction. I'm sure it's happened to many people. I need to do the eyebrows as well, so I'm going to try and keep the colour slightly different when it's inside of the glasses, just so I can sort of define and make the actual glass make the changes inside the so the glass sort of changes what's behind it. So I'm going to keep the colour a little bit more subtle. So actually, I'm really quite happy with how what I've done so far. The highlights up here. Just going to put a proper white spot up there to accentuate that highlight. There's a big highlight above the glasses here, and again, there's another big highlight here. Just whacking down quite a lot of white paint and feathering the edges slightly with my finger. So you can see how the highlights are hitting the top of my head here. Obviously there's going to be a lot of hair coming down like this, so don't worry about the clear weirdness up there. So I'm quite happy with what it looks like inside the glasses. Might need to be a little bit more shadows here and there. I'm just going to put a burnt sienna wash the shadows here, see what that looks like. I'm really not sort of using the burnt sienna as a colour, I'm using it as much more of a wash. Hopefully, because burnt sienna is quite orangey, should bring out the colour of the glasses a little bit, the skin a little bit, the shadow of the skin. Certainly around the eyes, which are a lot darker. I'll do all the eyebrows and stuff probably last. I think I quite like the way the eyes look. It's going to be quite difficult to understand until the glasses are actually on. Understand what's going on well with the eyes and what's not going on very well. I realised I did say I wasn't going to do inside the glasses, but I've changed my mind. So yeah, hopefully you can see how the eyes are looking. Let me zoom into the eyes so you can really take a look and see what I'm actually doing there. I don't want to change the pan of the image, so you can see the detail in the eyes. Now if I sort of cover up the eyes, they look, if I do that, you can definitely see there's an eye there. And how the detail inside the actual lens is sort of maybe exaggerating the eyes, maybe magnifying the actual eyes. So I think that's quite effective, to be honest. Zoom out a little bit. And I'll continue with the rest of the face. So again, I'm going to grab my vermilion here, grab a bit of tan, try and recreate the colour I created earlier. Tiny little bit of white. And the reason I did that was so I can recreate the shadow here. So I'll add the colour, the depth of colour to the shadow that it deserves. There's a nice little highlight down there as well. Also, the hair actually comes down like this, so we'll need to focus on that later on. Add a tiny bit of Payne's grey to this colour like I did before. That's way too much, but hopefully I can fade it out over here and add the darker bits, which are just in the inside of the, just at the edge of the glasses. So what I was saying about doing a self-portrait, you really learn from it, you really understand what you're doing, you really sort of get to know yourself through creating a self-portrait. And I think it's quite fascinating, to be honest. I think it really is quite exciting to understand yourself a little bit more, something that you perhaps never really used to understand. Because the fact you're sort of painting yourself, you really sort of come alive and understand what's going on. Realised I used the wrong brush for those shadows. I was trying to keep the two brushes separate. I'm using my technique where I'm putting just pure white over the top, so creating a whitewash, so I can add the highlights. I think this really works really nicely with faces, especially. Because you can blend it in really easily where you need it to be blended in. So here, for instance, probably can't see this on the camera very well, but I'm blending it in. I'm leaving quite a solid line where the shadow sort of merges with the edge. It is a bit faded though, so I'm just gonna blend it in a little bit. There's actually a really strong highlight. So the shadow sort of goes, that's a strong highlight. And then it kind of comes like this inside the glasses. I'm going to infer that highlight there. I think that will probably work quite well, to be honest. Quite looking forward to doing the glasses. I might actually do the glasses today, to be honest. Once I've sorted out all the eyebrows and the highlights on the inside, I might actually come in and just do the glasses. So I'm quite excited to see what that looks like. So from here, there's a really strong highlight that comes down. It's really sharp edged. I'm going to take my other brush, grab the sort of darker skin tone colour. There's a bit of water on there. Tiny bit of Payne's grey. Probably a little bit more vermilion. I'm going to try and mimic the shape of the shadow, which is basically that shape. And it comes up like this. I don't think I've got the colour very well. I'll just go over it with the right colour once I've got the shape. Very red, this shadow. I think my whole face is quite red, to be honest. Yeah, that's completely the wrong colour. So is that, actually, looking at it. So let's go and sort out those colours. Hi everyone who's just joined, how are you getting on? I'm just changing the colour of the shadow slightly because I don't think I got the right colour. I'm using this flesh tint just to sort of as a bit of a wash because I think the shadows are correct. I'm just doing it as a bit of a wash to try and get the colour a little bit better. I think that's probably a bit too bright, so I'm going to use a bit of flesh tint to soften that. I think in the photo it's either a lot more red or a lot more brown. I can't really work it out. I'm a little bit scared of using the brown colour. I'm just going to try it here. See what it actually looks like. Just going to fade it in gently. I think that looks actually a little bit better. So I'm exploring the colours because I'm not entirely sure what colour I'm supposed to be painting at the moment. This is a fairly expressionist piece. I don't want it to be photorealistic. I just want it to be pleasant on the eye with at least capturing my expression, my personality. So I'm not too concerned. I really am not too concerned about how it's looking. So obviously once the hair and the glasses are on, it's going to look so much better. Should be able to sort of really understand what's going on. And as I say, today I'm just going to sort of work from the top down of the face, and probably work back up from the bottom up. So I'm using like a raw vermilion colour here just to accentuate the shadow in a slightly redder way. Let's see how that works. think on the camera it looks a bit, what's the word? A bit over the top, maybe. Let me know if YouTube is being a bit weird. It keeps cutting out for me. It's saying my connection is strong though, I think. Twitch looks alright, I think. So I'm going to make this shadow slightly more subtle, I think. It's a bit in your face. It's quite in your face in the photo, actually. So I think I'm happy with this so far. I'll go over it obviously later on if I'm not happy with it. And then I'm going to move on to this area here. So first of all, I'm going to go down with that shadow that I've been doing for the other areas. So it's going to look like this. Get a bit of flesh tint. Get a bit of vermilion. And grab a tiny bit of Payne's Grey. And that should be the sort of right consistency for this. And then I'll go and lighten it up and add a bit of a red later on. I need to be careful about where the shadow looks like it's coming from. There's a nice curve there. Okay, I've accentuated that curve a little bit. Oh no, actually I think that's pretty good. Right underneath the glasses there's quite a nice highlight, which I'll show later on. So that's fine, that's the outside of the shadow. I'm going to get my vermilion. Really sort of a tiny bit on and then use my finger to get the sort of dark fleshy tint. Merging that in. Now I'm going to soften the shadow under here, just using the fleshy tint. I'm going to use the shadow, sort of red shadow underneath the glasses here. I think when you're painting a self-portrait, you have to be a bit more self-critical and be like, I don't think that looks like me, but it does look like you. It just looks like you, not how you imagine yourself. When you look in the mirror, you kind of see what you want to see. When you're doing a self-portrait, you don't have a choice but to see what is really there. And I guess that's the big difference. I guess that's a challenge for you to sort of understand what is actually going on. Alright, there's quite a deep shadow under the nose, which I'm going to start working on now. I'm going to use a smaller brush for this. Use these. Seeing if I could revive that colour. So, the shadow does something like this. Which is probably totally the wrong colour, and I'll go back and fix it. A very solid line there. Comes a bit more vertical up like this. Background here. Sort of up like that. This one comes all the way up there. That looks a little bit weird. I'm just going to go and soften it very much with a lot of white. I get some pure Payne's grey for the nostril. And now what I'm going to do, need a little bit more flesh tint on the palette. I'm going to soften the whole of that shadow up with a bit of flesh tint. I think the nose is somewhere where I might have to come back to, because I don't think I've done that very well at the moment. I don't think it's terrible. I will have to come back to it and sort of deal with the detail, the intricacies of the nose. I don't think it looks terrible at all. Now that I've softened up that shadow, I'm going to mix a bit of Payne's grey again with some flesh tint. I'm mixing this on the canvas here because I'm not getting the right colour on the palette, and the colour that I'm expecting from the palette is not really coming onto the canvas. So I'm just going to mix onto the canvas and see if I can get it accurate that way. So I'm doing pure vermilion on the canvas at the moment and then just blending it in with the background colour. I think that's working alright, to be honest. It's one of those things that as soon as I step away, I'll be like, no, that's wrong. I think it will need a bit of softening with some flesh tint, which I can do. Grab this colour here. Let's grab the shadow that's going up here. Soften up with my finger as usual. So I think that might be okay. I think it looks a bit weird because there's nothing below it. It's very light below it, is the point, and actually it's a big shadow that comes down. So I think that might be okay for now, to be honest. Let me just draw in that shadow if I can get the colour right. It's quite a dark shadow. Get some vermilion. It's too dark at the moment. I think that's probably okay. Get a bit of water. Mix it in with that. This is probably way too dark. Let's just see what it looks like. I'm going to be very careful with the outline of this shadow under the nose here. So it's going to calm down like this. It's going to hit the top lip about here, almost bang in the middle, to be honest. And it's going to come up like this. And then it's going to calm down like that. So the way I'm drawing this is sort of very strategic. Almost how you would draw a technical drawing, I guess. So that's the shape of the shadow. So let me just fill that in and see what it actually looks like. Obviously it's not a consistent colour, the shadow, but it will go in as a consistent colour. Then I'll sort of break away. It's actually quite a big highlight underneath the nose, which I hadn't appreciated. Under the sort of flat bit of the nose. So that's pretty good there. Change the colour of the shadow at the bottom of the nose as I just have done a few minutes ago. By using a tiny bit of flesh tint. So I'm kind of reversing what I did in some senses. This is what I love about acrylics. You can very quickly adjust what you've done. Just grab a little tiny bit of white. I'm going to grab the shadow, try and get that lovely sort of shape there. There are some very, very dark, almost definition lines here, which I'm just going to paint. It's going to help the nose sort of form. It's going to look like there's a fold under the nose, which there is, to be honest. It's cool. Going to mix a bit of vermilion and flesh again. Sort of lighten up the certain areas of the shadow. Just subtly. Maybe add a little bit more flesh tint. Make it a little bit lighter. I need to remember the detail of the, I don't know what you call that, the bit above the lip. There's a nice bit of detail there. It's quite bright in the middle. and then dark either side. It lightens up a little bit here. So a lot of this is going to be covered by beard anyway, so I'm not that concerned at the moment. I just want to get the rough shading correct, and then I'll go over and do another layer when I do the beard. I think at the moment you can see there's a nice shadow from the nose because I'm being uplit, because I'm being downlit in the painting. I think it's working pretty well. Just tidy up this bit, make sure this is light enough here, and this side as well, even though this side is probably a little bit more darker than the actual reality. So I think that's working quite well, to be honest. As I say, there's definitely a line of a highlight there, or just a lighter bit of my skin, I don't know. And it's darker. Grab a bit of this Payne's Grey. It is really quite dark. Of here. I think that possibly looks alright, to be honest. Might need to be a bit redder, so let's just add a bit of vermilion. Just blend it in. So yeah, the shadow under the nose looks alright now. And now I need to work on the highlights. Let's wash my brushes so they don't go dry. And now I need to work on the highlights underneath the cheekbones. So I'll show you what I was talking about with the reference image. You see that sort of shadow there? I've kind of captured this. Okay, this one probably comes a little bit too far, but that's going to be covered with the highlight that I'm about to draw. It goes under here and down here. I think that works quite well. I think the painting's too dark, so let me just lighten it up. I think that's more accurate, to be honest. I struggle to get the right lighting on the camera, to be honest. It's one of my things that I need to improve on. So I'd add in the really important highlight on the nose. So weirdly enough, the brightest part of the painting looks like it's here. There's a real contrast between shadow and highlight just where I'm painting now. It sort of fades down like that. And then I've got the highlight that sort of generally comes down here. So that's probably a little bit higher. It comes up a little bit higher like this, with a sharper curve, and hits the end of the shadow about there. This highlight will come down on the other side and sort of bring the shadow to a point. Make sure I haven't covered up that shadow there. I think that's how the highlight is working. And it comes into a sort of more pinky colour on the cheek. So because there's a more pinky colour, I'm just going to mix that. Mix it with some flesh tone. what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on there and then sort of blend it in, more as a wash rather than an actual colour of a painting. Probably a bit too much, to be honest, so I'll get some flesh tone to calm it down. Again, I'm mixing the wet paints on the canvas instead of on the palette. So you can see how the detail of the skin is building up, the really accentuated shadows and the highlights, etc. And as I mentioned, this is the strongest highlight, I think, in the whole painting, this area here. I'm going to make it so. So this is all beard, so the colour underneath doesn't matter too much. I am going to make it the pinker colour again. Just so there's something to work on underneath. Get the flesh tone. Sort of rub that over. And my beard covers the rest of it, really. Let's move on to the other side. It's quite similar. The highlight is less strong under here. I'm just going to go for the shape first. It's about that. It's quite a strong highlight just here. And then it comes down like that. And down like this. That's a really strong highlight there, but the rest is really not that strong. So I'm going to rub it in quite extensively. And the whole of this side of the face is quite an extensive highlight, except for the shadow of the glasses, which I'll paint on. To add a little bit more white onto the palette. So I'm doing a lot of mixing on the canvas rather than on the palette today. And I always do when I do portraits, because you can get much better colour tones if you sort of blend them in. A person's face is not one colour. There's so many different colours and there's so many different areas of it. By the way, I went to bed last night and my latest short had like 50 views after being online for 15, 16 hours. I woke up and it was on 900 views or 800 views. And I was like, oh, okay. The YouTube algorithm was working in its way overnight. Thank you for not, well, thank you for doing it, but also thank you for making me panic yesterday thinking nobody wants to watch my videos. Sarcasm. I reckon that short might hit 1,000 views actually, which would be my first video that does. Which I think is quite a good achievement for the first sort of like couple of months of, couple of weeks of proper YouTubing. So I'm just putting that there. I'm not really that interested in that at the moment. I'm just putting it out there for reference. I'm going to need to clean this palette at some point, so I'll have a little break and clean the palette, get a drink. Sorry, that was completely wrong, so I'm just going to rub that out. So it comes down like that, and then like this. Sort of comes in like that, back down like that. That's further than that. So I'm going to get down to sort of the mouth area, and then I'll start doing the beard, I think. I'll paint in the really strong highlight here. And then I'll sort of start on the sort of gingery red, blondie, strawberry, whatever you call that beard. What's quite nice about this painting is all of the hard edges are very hard. They're sort of a really dark colour. So around let me show you the reference image. So around the hand, really hard dark colour. The lips, they're dark colour. The nose has a dark colour all the way around. The eyes are quite dark around there. There's a real border, which is something that you don't often get in portraits. It actually makes painting a lot easier, I think, because you've got all the dark sort of borders around, because you can really show distinction between different areas. So that's beard down there. It's got beard. Nice highlight here, which I've already done. I need to sort out this little bit here. I'm going to sort out the dimple, and I'll do the highlight that does that. So let's focus on the dimple now. This is really quite a dark shadow. So let's use this one. And then that comes up more like that. I'm going to get some Payne's grey involved here. A tad of Payne's grey at the really darkest point, which is just here. And it comes through down there. And down like that. I'm going to dab it to lighten up slightly. Then the same over here, although it doesn't need Payne's grey over here, it's much lighter over here. So I'll just grab this. So this is almost all covered up with beard. I'm just sort of getting the background colour, the background block colour up. Palette needs a good clean. So I'll do the highlight down here, and then I'll do the lips, and I think that'll be it for this part, and then I'll sort of carry on, go and have a break for 10 minutes maybe, and then I'll carry on after the break. So I'm just getting the colour right for the lips here. Very, very pink colour here for the top lip. I'm going to add a bit of vermilion to stop it being so pink. I think it needs a bit more subtlety, so maybe I'll grab a bit of the burnt sienna colour. Somewhere in between those two colours, if you can see on the palette. I think that's a pretty nice colour to start with, the lip. This is the top lip. So the top lip does something along the lines of this. And it comes up, has a nice sort of curve there. It's very thin around here. Maybe a bit thicker than that. Grab some more colour. It's fairly flat. There's a little bump, but it's fairly flat until the point at which it So that's the base colour of the lip, I think. It needs to be it is the wrong colour slightly. And then the other part of the lip is just a very bright pink, I think. I don't think there's anything special to that colour. So a very light pink. Obviously I'll come back and add the detail and stuff. There's a lot of highlights on this lip. To just sort of calm it down. So currently it looks like I'm wearing two different kinds of lipstick. It looks like I've got a fat lip as well for some reason, but I need to soften it out. And I'll do that after the little break. But in the meantime, just before I go, I'm just going to fill the gap with a Payne's Grey. Actually, no, I won't. I'm going to fill the gap with a darker lip colour. I think Payne's Grey is a bit too much for this. This brush might be a little bit too thick for this, but let's see. Yeah. Let's find a thinner brush. Add a tiny bit of Payne's Grey at the ends, just to sort of highlight the fact that there is a subtle impulse. It's definitely a shadow underneath the lip, which I'll just put in there. That'll be softened a lot later on. Then I need to really focus on finished with that brush. I need to focus on highlighting the top of the lip. We're really focusing on this highlight here. I've added a little bit too much paint to the canvas there, but it's fine. Make sure that highlight is here. I don't know what's going on there, that's a bit weird. That should be a straight line. Don't know how that turned into not being a straight line, but I'm going to make it a straight line. So I'm going to need to go over this again because I haven't done this very well the first time here, and I'll sort of fix it later on as I go. Anyway, that's the end of the first part. And I'll have a little bit of a break, maybe for 10 minutes, and carry on and then decide what to do in the sort of second half of the stream. I'm going to go and do some washing of the palette, have a little break, have a drink, refuel a little bit, and then I'll come back. But I think so far in the first half of this looks quite good. I need to sort out that lip. Maybe it's too fat actually. It might be a little bit too fat of the lip. But I think what I've done is quite good. My face shows a little bit of a... Well, it's looking quite... I think it's looking quite nice. Shows my podgy cheeks. And once I've got the beard in all the way around, I think it'll look pretty fantastic, to be honest, so far. So yeah. I'll see you in sort of 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you, Sketch Yourself. I don't know when you sent that message. Sorry, I missed it. I appreciate that. Hello, I am back. Just noticed the music's gone, so let me just update the playlist. Let's see what this playlist sounds like. So this is how the painting's going so far. My plan today is get the beard and the we'll just get the beard in really, and then and the eyebrows, and then probably do the glasses. So, we haven't looked at the reference image. Now the eyeballs, they're, well, the eyebrows, sorry. Let me just grab the reference image. So up here, they're sort of a mixture between a dark brown and quite a light white. There's not much in between, but they're all scattered all over the place. There's no neatness to my eyebrows. There's a lot of nice highlights above and below inside the glasses. Some nice highlights inside the thing itself. And we need to make sure that this really dark area here is filled with sort of the browny, blondie stuff. What I'm going to use, I'll end up using quite a lot of yellow ochre, I think, for my hair and my eyebrows in general. So I should be able to sort of do that. So, I'm going to work on this area first. Right, so let's get some colours on the palette. I think burnt sienna is quite a nice colour for the eyebrow. As I mentioned, I'll probably end up using yellow ochre, so I'll get some of that down. And of course, I'll use the white. There's quite a lot of paint that I'm putting on here. I don't need this much. I'm going to get a very fine brush, which is this one. I'm going to clean the brushes. Didn't do a very good job with that. So I'm going to start off with a dark tone as always when I do this. So I've used burnt sienna. Maybe I should use burnt umber actually, but we'll see what it looks like. And I'm just going to do some various random sort of brush strokes around here. This is where it's darkest. My eyebrows are quite thick, so because the dark colour is sort of the base colour, I don't mind about whether it looks like strokes or whether it just looks like a sort of a big mass of. Colour. I think I'll do for the base layer there. Now I'm going to move on to the yellow ochre colour. So I'm not actually mixing these colours here, I'm not planning to mix them. So I think mixing them on the canvas or making them on the canvas is going to work a lot better, to be honest. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. I'm going to put some beige as well in here and then some white. I'll get some soft beige, maybe coral actually. Or is that too much like flesh colour? No, I think that's too much like flesh colour. I might grab some deep yellow. Just put a couple of like tiny highlights of deep yellow. Dab it, so just to make sure that bit's not totally dark. I'm just going to add a couple of highlights here of deep yellow on the hair of the eyebrow. Just add a nice little bit of colour going on there. So when you step back from the painting, so when you're far away from the painting, you won't be able to see these individual strands of colour. But hopefully they'll sort of merge together and look really quite cool, really quite nice. Now we just need the highlights of the white. Get a bit of deep yellow actually down here. Get a bit of yellow ochre as well. I think there needs to be some darker colour in there as well, so I might get the burnt umber out. But I really need to focus on some of the white strands. Really fine white. Just to show there's a few highlights in there in the hair. using the coral to soften the colours out a little bit. See what that looks like from a distance. I think that looks alright. Might be a bit of the wrong colour. As I said, I need a darker colour in there, so let's get a bit of burnt umber. There's a dollop. So as I say, I'm not going to mix any of the hair colour, I'm just going to sort of mix it on the canvas to create the texture rather than Whereas burnt umber might be quite a good shadow colour, to be honest. Just adding that into the wrinkles. The wrinkles I have around my eyes. Or this left eye in particular. Adding some whites into the eyes just to get a little bit more standing out. So I think that looks alright. Obviously it's going to look amazingly better when the glasses are in. But I think that area actually looks alright. Let me zoom in to show you. See? I'll just focus it for you. See, it looks really good. I think the eye is coming out alive. Once I paint the glasses in, I think it will look really quite fantastic, if I'm honest. So now I'll do the other eye. So I'm going to start off with the burnt umber again. Well, I didn't do that last time, but I should have done. Not the burnt umber, burnt umber, sorry. It is burnt umber. I'll probably do a pure Payne's grey for the glasses. There's no real texture on the glasses, there's no light bits or dark bits. Obviously you can see the edges of the lenses, which is essentially 100% white. But in terms of the actual colour of the glasses, there's really not that much. It's just a plain black, to be honest. Maybe there's a couple of gradients here and there, which I'll sort of incorporate. It just looked like a big sort of black blob. I'll start off with Payne's grey, and if I need to go darker, I'll go darker. I want to do the glasses immediately after I've done these eyebrows. So I've done the burnt umber. I'm now going on to the burnt sienna. It's probably enough burnt sienna, maybe not actually. Maybe I need to do a bit up here. And then go one step higher into yellow ochre. I don't think there's as much yellow ochre in this eye as the other one. But I'll certainly add it in. There's no harm, I don't think. This whole eyebrow is a little bit darker, certainly around here where the shadow is. When I come to the beard, I'll probably use a bigger brush, a bit of a roughness, sort of may do a little bit of stabbing with a swiping motion. But I think the eyebrows are quite good with this brush here. Gonna grab the sort of golden yellow. What was it? Golden. No, it was just deep yellow. It wasn't golden yellow. And where there's no shadow, I'm just going to put a few strands of it on there. I think that works quite well. And the last one is the white. Looking at white. I don't know where my paint pen is. I was going to use that for the some of the highlights. Oh, dab that off because that went a bit over the top. I think eyebrows are very difficult to paint the way I'm painting them now, because there's a lot of colour and there's a lot of texture in the eyebrow, but I don't really usually capture that. I usually paint them as a sort of blanket colour. I think my eyebrows are particularly textured. They're very thick anyway. I've certainly got quite a hairy face. Found the paint pen. So, around the edge of the glasses, it's very, very white and grey on the inside. So I'm going to paint that first. I'm going to do basically a grey and then white mix. And I'm not going to bother with painting it, or sorry, with mixing it on on the palette, I'm just going to go for it. So I'm just going to paint the grey first, and I'm going to go over the grey with the white in areas where I think you need a bit more definition or a bit more highlights. I'm having to be quite careful around here to make sure I'm getting things right. So I'm going to do the white highlight actually after I've done the black. I'm just going to do the inside of the lens like that. Then I'm going to do the white highlight after I've done the black. I think that'll be a little bit easier. Just cover the grey with the white in places where it's needed. I think it's the first painting I've ever done with glasses. Yeah, it is. I think glasses are quite a large part of my personality. I've always worn them. I have to wear them for everything. And very few people have seen me without glasses. I think it's quite a big part of who I am. So, I'm happy with that. I'm now going for the Payne's Grey. Why am I not using black? I think black could be a bit harsh on this, to be honest. It might be. I might end up reverting to black, to be honest. It's a lot easier to go darker than it is to go lighter. I think the key with this is to be need to be pretty careful with this, to be honest. Made a bit of a mess up here. The problem? I don't know if it's a problem actually.
Live a little, flip the page, give it some more, getting out of my way. I was hiding, bulletproof, forever waiting. Thank you.
Right.
I thought I was what I've been told. I thought I was.
I have to take a lot of care doing this.
I thought I was what I've been told. I thought I was. was picking up the pieces of yesteryear's life, in over my head, trying to figure out. I was going through changes, where to begin, when a mountain moving revelation came marching in. I thought I was what I've been told. I thought I was. I thought I was what I've been told. I thought I was. Been a long time, baby. Had an all time low. Stick with me, maybe. Don't let me go. Fell out of the roller coaster, crashed out, landed on cotton candy in your arms and survived. I'm still a disaster, rock bottom and below. I'm yours for the asking, where you go I go. I thought I was what I've been told. I thought I was. I thought I was what I've been told. I thought I was. Been a long time, baby. At an all-time low. Stick with me, maybe. Don't let me go. Come, my love, my morning light.
Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm trying to concentrate a lot here so I don't make a mess. I think this is one of the most important parts of the painting, this. I get the glasses wrong, then it completely destroys the character of the painting. Also, it's going to be a right pain to fix.
Been a long time, baby. At an all-time low. Stick with me, maybe. I love you so.
Ah. Sorry, that bit I just did a bit of a problem there with. So my glasses are quite chipped in terms of the black. I'm not going to paint that on. I think that'll be a bit too confusing as to what's going on there. It'll look like an error on the painting rather than something that's real.
Is a river running strong, moving like a wave through a rocky riverbed. Sometimes love is a dancer in the dark, spinning, laughing, twirling through the back door of your heart. And every time I think of you, well, something happens in my mind. And every time I try to leave, you're keeping me
So I'm hoping after I've done this, the eyes will come alive.
Sometimes love is a thought we held too long. Sometimes it's alright just to be a little wrong.
Sometimes it's the issue of painting on canvas. Because the canvas isn't smooth, because I'm being very gentle, filling in the gaps, filling in the little bubbles and stuff can be quite challenging. So you have to put on more pressure than you want, and you risk it bleeding over the lines. I think that's looking pretty good, to be honest.
Sometimes love is a reason to hold on, blowing like a hurricane right inside of me and you. No blues or avenues take away my strength. When love's standing holding hands right here by my side. So if you wanna take a ride and see what happens down the road, find yourself a pair of gloves and get yourself a warmer coat. Oh,
Sorry about not chatting much, I really am concentrating. This is probably the most critical part of the painting, getting the glasses right and getting the glasses smooth. I mean, I can always come and fix it later on, but I just don't want to do that if I get it wrong. One of the reasons I've chosen not to mix the colour for the glasses is so that I can come back and fix it later on if I need to, without having to worry about mixing the correct colours.
She didn't love you back, all she did was leave a hole in your chest. You didn't get that job, even though you really gave it your best. And now you're wondering what's the point of anything at all. But let me tell you why, that's just life putting you through the test. Before the dawn, it's always dark. Before the light, there is a tunnel. Before you run, you gotta stumble. When you fall in love, but it don't work out. When you've cried at least 100 times. When you feel so stuck, but you can't get out. Just remember, there will come a day when it all works out, and you didn't even have to try. You will find a way if you hold on now, and remember that the only way is up from here.
Come on. The paint on the canvas right now is being very stubborn.
You say you're
I'm getting the holes.
getting on, but what do you know about what's to come? 'Cause what the future holds, nobody knows till the race is all won. So if you
Let me step back and have a look at what that looks like.
what's the point
I
of
think it looks alright.
anything at all?
I don't think it looks too bad at all, to be honest.
Life, live your
Well, I've got Payne's Grey. I'm just going to stab a little bit on the eyebrows just to make them a little bit darker, especially over here where it's in shadow.
before the dawn, it's
allow a bit of colour inference from the glasses to the eyebrow. That's always going to be a positive there. Don't really know what to do with this painting afterwards. Probably give it to someone as a present. Take photos of it, use it as my profile picture everywhere. As I say, I'll probably give it to someone as a present, depending on what they want it, that is. Don't know why anyone would want me on their wall though. Never know, it might be worth a fortune one day. Self-portrait, my first ever self-portrait. It's unlikely though. Probably. Well, artists are often renowned for being famous and start making money once, unfortunately, they're no longer with us. But no, I genuinely do believe I'll be able to make something of my art. I think my art is good enough. I think I've got an understanding of what's going on really well. And I really do think that I don't think I'm being completely moronic by saying I genuinely think I've got a skill that could take me far. Could help my friends, could help a lot of people. Could really sort of accentuate who I am. And I do believe I can make a career out of this. Just need to gain my exposure, get a few commissions. So you never know. If I'm right with that, it's a long way to go, but if I am right with that, maybe my paintings will be worth quite a lot one day. I think sentimental value, certainly too. It's not all about money, it's about sentimental value. Having something from a friend, something so lovingly painted, a lot of care. When you purchase art, you're not just purchasing what you see on the canvas, you're purchasing somebody's essentially love and soul they put into this piece of work for you to enjoy. You're not really, you really aren't just looking at the just what's on the wall. It's not about the what's on the wall necessarily. And that's why, quite frankly, when you look at the objectiveness of some art is absolutely terrible. I think everyone agrees. Some art just looks awful. I know everyone has different opinions and all that kind of stuff. But in my opinion, some art is terrible. But you always, regardless of how good or bad the piece of art is, you always have to understand and realise somebody has put their heart and soul into that regardless. And it's a massive part of the reason why you should buy art. Because actually you're not just investing in the picture, you're investing in the journey. It's not, everything's about a journey. Everything in the world is about a journey. I think I need to use a bit of a paint pen on this. I'll just do this one first. One of the things I've always struggled with is to get white, really fine white. I know some people use things like threads to really position the white strands. Can't be bothered with that. I'm going to move on to the really dinky brush now. Hey! How are you, my girls? I miss you. I hope you're enjoying the painting. I really do. Does it look like me, do you think? Okay, I'm missing the beard, obviously. Do you think it looks like me so far? Sorry. So I think this highlight around the lens is really actually bringing that the colour of the glasses out, or the sort of the eye out. You can really see how the lens is working with the sort of framing the individual eyes. And actually what that does, which is quite nice, it sort of separates the eye from the rest of the painting, so you have a real focal point. And doing this has really sort of, I don't know what the word is, really brought out the lifeness, the life of the painting, just by simply doing the front of the glasses. And obviously needs to do the sides as well. I was really looking forward to this part of the painting, and it hasn't disappointed. I really, really think this has brought the whole painting to life. Just these glasses. Not quite the same height though. Is that going to annoy me? I don't know. Might do. The glasses are a bit wonky, I just noticed. Let's take a ruler. Should be about there. Do I fix that? I think the answer is probably yes. Okay, that looks very weird now. I'm going to have to paint underneath it again once it dries, because I got the glasses wrong. I think that's a much more natural sort of... I'll have to wait for the glasses to dry and I'll fix that later on. But what I can do while it's still there, I can do the inside. I'm going to have to paint over the really dark Payne's grey that I've just created, because I got the glasses slightly wrong. How is everyone doing who's watching? Having a good Saturday afternoon, evening? So once I finish the glasses, I think that'll be it for my stream today. I'm getting a little bit tired. And I'll start for the beard tomorrow and then do the hair. So I'll do the beard and then I'll do the hair and then I'll do the hand. Well, actually, no, finish the hoodie and then I'll do the hand. Nothing worse than painting when you're tired, honestly. Just do the sides of the glasses now. So these are the glasses I'm wearing. If you didn't realise. I think that looks alright. I need to fix up this bottom bit here, so I'll just get some of the... wonder if this coral will work. Not really is the answer. I'll just quickly mix a bit of a flesh tint and a bit of white, because to be honest, the bottom of this is actually very, very bright. That's way too much flesh tint. I don't want to use that much. I'm just thinning out the glasses where I made the mistake. Just going to put a bit of a shadow under, not shadow, a highlight underneath it. It's fine. And I'll need to come back and do a bit of a Payne's grey again, which I'll do just now, if I've got any left on the palette. And I do have a tiny bit. This should be far more pointed over here. So let's just do that quickly. In fact, I have, you can see my sketch has actually made this more pointed. I obviously ignored it completely.
I hope it reaches you. I know it's been a long time since you heard from me. I'm still kicking around.
And this should be quite an easy fix because there's a nice bit of
I heard you got a new
white on the inside of here.
I heard you got a new job. I heard you got a haircut, and it looks real nice. Are you ever lonely? Do you ever think of me? I heard you got a new man. I hope it treats you right. And before you toss this letter away,
I think the glasses look a little bit more even now. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. I think they're looking quite good. Can't criticise. Let me know what you think.
can surely take your body to a new place for a while. But some things stay, no matter where you go. Do you still love me, lies, babe? Please tell me yes or no.
I have to fix these
When the world
oopses with my hand touching the canvas.
try to find a good thing we can stand behind. All my friends tell me she's the one that got away.
So I think that works quite well so far. I think the glasses really, really bring out the eyes. I'm really happy with that.
There's nothing else worth thinking of
Yeah, I think that's pretty good, to be honest.
when you find
That whole area looks finished to me. Like that. I'm going to add a little bit of white. I don't think it necessarily needs it, but I'm going to add a little bit of white to the
shooting across
white of the eyes. I know I did this earlier, but I'm going to add a bit more.
take your body to a new place for a while. But some things stay, no matter where you go. Do you still love me, lies, babe? Please tell me yes or no.
So there we go. I think that's me done for today. Got the glasses in. I've got the sort of finished off the skin from here upwards. I need to do the beard, finish off the lips. I'll just put a highlight here for now. It needs one. So I'll finish off the lips tomorrow. So I'll work from here downwards and then the hair. So that'll be tomorrow's job. And then from then on we'll hopefully just Monday or the next stream. So I think I've got 2 more streams. So I'll do the beard, the hair and the hand. Sorry, the beard, the hair, probably in one stream because that's going to take a while. It might not take that long actually, come to think of it. And then I'll do the hoodie, and then I'll do the hand very last because that's the thing that's right in the front. I'm really happy with how the face has gone. I think it looks really good. I do, as I say, once I get the beard in, it's going to really come to life, and the hair obviously. But no, I'm really quite happy with the skin tones and everything. So yeah, tell me what you think in the comments or in the chat. And thank you very much for watching. As I say, I think that's on. I think I'm done for the day. Apart from that little bit there, which needs fixing. So thanks very much. Really appreciate it. And have a great evening.